Making headlines tonight, the Prime Minister breaks her silence on the Independence Day renaming saga. Fresh efforts to breathe new life into the Pelican Center in the city. The Hope Project will be one of the first to get financing through the Green Bank. And coming up in sports, Brazil kicks off their World Cup campaign with a blanking of Serbia.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
I'm Shane Jones, leading the news at 7. Prime Minister Mia Amor-Mottley finally broke her silence on the Independence Day renaming saga last night. The Prime Minister, along with Deputy PM Santia Bradshaw and a team of ministers and MPs, were at Springer Memorial School last evening for St. Michael Speaks. With less than a week to go before Independence Day, Prime Minister Mottley, in response to a question from the audience, publicly spoke for the first time on the matter of the proposal to rename November 30th Barbados National Day. Ms. Mottley said Barbadians will be celebrating independence as well as republicanism, while highlighting what she said was the origin of the confusion.
As to what we call it, became engulfed in a maelstrom of confusion, largely because a strap line from a newspaper said Independence Day. What was the strap line? Independence Day no more. Now, there could be nothing that is further from the truth, because without democracy and universal adult suffrage, we would not have had independence. And without independence, we would not have had a republic. So that there is a continuum in the development, and I think you reflected that in your speech earlier. To that extent, because this has become the subject of divisive commentary, the government paused, because the one thing that day must not be, the day that defines Barbados' journey for freedom, from universal adult suffrage to independence to republic, is that the one thing it must not be is divisive.
During the discussion, Prime Minister Mottley promised a meeting within 10 days after Queen Elizabeth Hospital employee Evadne Turney raised a concern.
My workers are staying the course, but with conditions and treatments from some of management at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, we can't bear it no more.
Hear me. My commitment to you is to ensure that you are heard and the other side is heard. So I would like you once again to go and let us take the information and let us ensure that a meeting is held between yourselves, the supervisors, and the management of QEH, and where necessary, the workers' representatives, if you have representatives. So whether it is NUPW or whoever, and let us bring everybody to the table and let us get it solved.
Ms. Mottley also revealed that Cabinet will soon announce a new date for regathering.
Because we believe that the excitement which it generated in the first 10 weeks of the year portended for an extraordinary engagement and gathering of the families. And the fact that it was disrupted will probably make, when we do it again, even sweeter. Because there is nothing like celebrating a journey that was difficult to navigate. So thank you for raising it, and I give you the assurance that at the appropriate time, once Cabinet has settled these matters, probably early next year, we will be in a position to announce when we think we can resume that wonderful exercise of gathering the generations back onto the rock.
Government's Parish Speaks initiative will resume next year with St. Lucie in January. During the same meeting, we also heard from Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Transport, Works and Water Resources, Santia Bradshaw, who said her ministry met with the Barbados Water Authority to address not only potholes, but the larger issue of road reinstatement. She said she has heard the cries of residents across the island complaining that roads get dug up and then left for months or even years.
We've agreed in principle that there are some aspects that the MTW will obviously deal with in terms of reinstatement. That means as well that if we see potholes along the same road, that we're not just going in to fix the areas where BW was in to repair, but it means that the team has to obviously look at the entire road and to be able to address the concerns of the residents in those areas. So I don't want a situation where you just go to fix one area, but then you leave the community and you haven't addressed it. Now that means that obviously it may take a little bit more time for the officers to be able to complete the works.
Ms. Bradshaw says the recent weather has been hindering progress.
With all the best intentions, sometimes the teams have been setting out to be able to do the potholes, but then the rain comes down either before or after and completely interferes with the progress of the works. So I just want to say to the public that we are mindful of the challenges. These issues have been going on for some time, but as soon as we can get some dry weather, I give you the assurance that we're increasing the number of teams that can actually do the pothole patching, as well as making the case to the Prime Minister, who has traveled the length and breadth of Barbados and recognized that we need to see an increase in the patching teams to be able to have more equipment and more teams to be able to assist us.
Now, even as NIFCA nears its last lap for the 2022 season, the intensity of cultural events remains high. Marketing Officer of the National Cultural Foundation, Ashley Dial, told CBC News the last weekend will be action-packed.
This is the final weekend of NIFCA. We had a successful season. Barbados really came out and supported the artists. This Friday, we have the final music in the square happening in Golden Square Freedom Park beginning at 4 p.m. This is absolutely free to the public. NIFCA dance entitled Rebirth of a Nation is also happening this Saturday. Dances will chronicle Barbados' past and bright future as a republic. The Frank Coleman Hall will come alive from 7 p.m. with various selections showcasing the journey of our land's growth, noting and comparing cultural and societal changes, similarities, and the lessons learned on the path to self-governance. The show will feature pieces by Aisha Commichon, Olivia Hall, Louise Woodbine Dance Academy, Pioneers Creative Workshop, Multiverse Dance Crew, Israel Lover Foundation, and more. Tickets are $40 and available at the NCFCS Pharmacy Digicel SkyMall and online at www.ticketpal.com. And for more information, persons can feel free to visit our website at www.ncf.bb.
Coming up after the break, a new drive to increase the commercial activity at the Pelican Center. There are fresh efforts to breathe new life into the Pelican Center in the city. Export Barbados is now spearheading a new initiative to expand the Pelican experience to include more visitors to the island and to utilize more of the space between the port and the center to showcase all Barbados has to offer. Ryan Broom has more.
Chief Executive Officer of Export Barbados, Mark Hills, says one of the first events to get the initiative rolling is an Art and Sip November market that saw the inclusion of art displays, a tuk band, along with wine and rum sampling and free snow cones, among other things. The activity drew the attention of some of the visitors who had disembarked ships in the port into the complex.
The reality is that if you're going to grow your business, you got to get sales. So effectively, we got to put in the necessary marketing to allow the tourists who are in now on the cruise ships to come across the road, something to pull them across the road. So we felt that the art sip and extravaganza here at the Pelican Center will be the beginning point to begin to breathe some life back into Pelican. You know, so getting the excitement going again around the whole shopping experience.
Mr. Hill adds that later on they're also looking to introduce the Barbados Rum Museum, where, among other things, Barbadians and visitors alike will be able to sample rums from both here and around the world. And he says some pop-up shops closer to the port will also become a reality as they expand the reach of the Pelican Center.
So that as soon as the tourists come out, that they can be met straight away with vendors and craft people and persons immediately. So the thing is really about creating a better marketing experience and positioning our craftspeople, our merchants, our vendors to be able to capitalize on who's coming off the cruise ships.
And he says the vision is wide for the area to be fully developed.
Eventually, we're looking to have an IT shop in this space as well. As I mentioned before, a more food court. So in here we have our umbrellas on our way in, and so you can come into Pelican, sit down, free Wi-Fi, The welcome staffers can come in here and work comfortably for the whole day and just be a nice space that they can line and shop if they need to. So we're really looking to widen it and make it into a real international world-class shopping experience.
Meanwhile, Export Barbados will be seeking to host events like the Art and Sip at least once a month or in conjunction with the arrival of new cruise ships to the island. Ryan Broom, CBC News.
Now that Barbados has received grant funding from the Green Climate Fund's Project Preparation Facilitation, it can establish the Blue-Green Investment Corp. The Green Bank will allow financing to several private and public initiatives for green, affordable, gender-inclusive housing, energy generation, water conservation, food security, and low-carbon transport. CBC News spoke with Professor Avinash Prasad, who was key in the negotiations. He said they want to support the Hope Housing Project.
One of the projects we very much want to use this bank to scale up and to expand is the existing HOPE project, the home ownership powered by renewable energy. And there, people who don't have collateral can get a piece of land in the HOPE project in return for giving us they're lending us their roof for solar panels, and that funds the land over time. But there's a limit to how big that can be if there's no regular financing. So we hope to scale that up. That'll be working with some of the credit unions and mortgage companies who offer offering mortgages for HOPE projects.
Professor Prasad said while this is a win for Barbados in terms of the renewable energy path, there is still some work to be done by all citizens.
All of us need to be much more conscious of sustainability in our lives, in all aspects of our lives, and move towards more sustainable activities. And that's right down to what we eat, as well as how we travel.
Professor Prasad and a team of individuals were part of the negotiations which took place during COP27 in Egypt. The BGIC will not be a retail bank but an investment bank working to facilitate and support retail activity. It will do so through financing green bonds, for instance, and will seek to draw in and partner with other financial players like banks, credit unions, pension funds, and insurance companies. This Sunday, the Garfield Sobers Complex will come alive at 10 a.m. with the National Independence Thanksgiving service. Joining us live now to speak about the multi-faith worship to celebrate Barbados' independence is Archdeacon Eric Lynch. Good evening, Archdeacon, and thank you for joining us.
And thank you very much for having me to share with those who are viewing with us and will pick up on virtually, both this evening for this telecast, but also on Sunday morning, Sunday, November the 27th, when the faith community will present a Thanksgiving service. The faith community comprising a number of religious expressions in Barbados, Christian, the Orisha movement, we have from the House of Islam, then our Judaism, and so we have the Quran will be there, and we have a reading from the Quran. So we will all be there at the Garfield Sobers complex in our numbers to give thanks to Almighty God. We are of course grateful to the Ministry of Labour and Third Sector, under whose guise the faith community is represented now. That's the Ecclesiastical Affairs Unit, now located in the Ministry of Labour, and they have partnered with us so that the faith community in Barbados can present this Thanksgiving service as we give thanks to God for independence and a year of our Republican status.
Archdeacon?
We do. Sorry.
Go ahead. Finish your point.
Oh, I was just going on to say, perhaps anticipating the question that you'll be asking, that we look forward to this wonderful opportunity on Sunday morning.
Okay, can you tell me a bit about the planning that went into it? Because it's a multi-faith service, so you had to have a lot of planning going on behind the scenes to make the day what it eventually will be.
Right. As I indicated, the faith communities in Barbados, they were with the government through you might call it Ecclesiastical Affairs Department, located now in the Ministry of Labor. There was a large planning team of representatives from the faith communities in Barbados, as well as the governmental agencies that are responsible for a lot of this planning, making available to us the gymnasium. And though we started late this year, we normally have had a longer period of planning. We were able to pull this off because everyone knew that they had work to do and they did their work. And so there was a faith community subcommittee looking at the actual order of service, negotiating with the various faith communities, and coming to an understanding of what it is we wanted to present to Barbados in thanksgiving to God for God's many blessings to us. You do recall that the theme is by grace through faith, perseverance, resilience, strength. And so the faith community representatives on the subcommittee actually looked at this and came up with music, came up with the readings, and came up with the actual liturgy, the things that will be done in the context of our worship.
Okay, wonderful.
So we did work very, very hard.
Wonderful. From the things I've been seeing on social media and what we've been hearing on the ground, we expect it to be a fantastic day. Thank you so much, Archdeacon Lynch, for joining us and bringing us up to date.
And thank you for the media. We look forward to your presence with us on Sunday morning. Do remember that the representative from the Barbados Transport Board said that they will be moving persons directly to the gymnasium so that the LD wouldn't have to walk any distance, etc. And we look forward to all of the information being shared widely so that Barbadians can come out again. There'll be some relaxation with the COVID-19 protocols, but let us not drop our guard. What we want to do instead is, with recognizing that the virus is still there in its mutated forms, we are going to seek to take care of ourselves, but also look out for our brothers and sisters as we give thanks to Almighty God for the many, many blessings.
Thank you so much. And of course, that bus fare on the Transport Board service remains at the normal $3.50.
Tonight's business report is sponsored by Digicel Business. Better solutions for better businesses.
Barbados is looking to strengthen and deepen its financial and investment relations with Canada even more. The point was made this morning by Barbados's Consul General in Toronto, Sonia Marvel Carter, while addressing the breakfast touchpoint event at Fairmont Royal York, hosted by Invest Barbados. She stressed the importance of 5 decades of diplomatic relations. Ms. Marvel Carter said that as Barbados approaches its first anniversary as a republic, they intend to continue diversifying the island's range of business products and grow investment in traditional areas. These include insurance, wealth management, financial services, information communication technology, renewable energy, and niche manufacturing. She said the session was key and the Council is ready to help.
Strengthen our connections, explore opportunities. We encourage you, of course, to network. And there will be hopefully many positives coming out of the session today. It is therefore my pleasure to commend Invest Barbados on this very timely initiative and to reaffirm the consulate's willingness to facilitate Canadian investors who may wish to pursue investment opportunities in Barbados.
The Director of International Business in the Ministry of Energy and Business, Kevin Hunt, was also there to speak with the participants and answer any questions about doing business in Barbados. The operators of the Harrison's Cave Eco Adventure Park see the development of community tourism as important to Destination Barbados. Chukka Caribbean Adventures Barbados, through its community outreach, is looking to partner with Celestine Restaurant that recently reopened in St. Thomas to boost community tourism in that parish. Country Manager Andrea Franklin says being a part of the community is an important part of the objectives and mandate of the company.
It's important that we pull other small businesses along with us as we grow. So everybody knows of Harrison's Cave, everybody knows of Chaka, but it's important that we also help to develop the communities around us and pull them along with us. So that's what we are doing. And we've already met with Terrell and spoken about plans for how he plans to develop here, and you will be hearing more about how we will work with him. It's going to be an important part of our community tourism outreach going forward. We've already told Terrell that we need to have some roast breadfruit.
Ms. Franklin expects their community tour will be rolled out in the coming months.
We are going to bring it back to this area and take it to the next step as we incorporate it into the Chaka model and into the Chaka product that we take to the wider world. And in tourism, people are looking for experiences. People are looking for authentic experiences.
Okay, time for the second half in sports. Now we welcome back Damien.
Thanks so much, Shane. Well, veteran West Indies cricketer Reverend Sir Wesley Hall has brought his A game yet again, as he provides a candid and revealing look into his sporting life through his just-launched autobiography. The book titled Answering the Call, The Extraordinary Life of Sir Wes Hall was launched last night at Kensington Oval. Sir Wes' family, along with the Prime Minister, fellow cricketing greats, including national hero, the Right Excellent Sir Garfield Sobers, and Cultural Ambassador, the Most Honourable Anthony Mighty Gabby Carter, were in attendance for the occasion. So Wes, as he reminisced on his glory days and performances on the field, provided a sneak peek into his book, telling those present it was a thrill to pen his autobiography.
I looked at the fact that playing for the West Indies was a great thing. I just wanted to make sure that the people of Barbados and the people in the West Indies were able to be there, you know, like if they actually saw the game. Because the West Indies in England, you know, they did so much for the West Indies team because they were always there. There was a time when the West Indians were able to, you know, during the Lords and indeed the Old Trafford, not Old Trafford, what's the other one, sorry? And the Oval. Yeah, you've been in England, that's all right. Yeah, and I'm telling you, that West Indian support was one of the greatest things that we as players could do.
Well, Prime Minister Mia Amor-Motley took the time to publicly salute Sir Wes and other cricketing greats.
Sir Wes, it is not given to many to be present and to understand and appreciate the extent to which people value one's contributions along this journey of life. That we can do so for you is a blessing not just for you, but for the nation.
The presentations of Sir Wes's book were made to his alma mater, St. Giles Primary and Combermere School.
That's our news. Good night and be good. Thanks for visiting us. To get more stories like this one, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.